Well, well. I guess I can hear myself in here. Welcome. It seems like another restaurant is going to bite the dust. It's unfortunate. I remember going to this restaurant many years ago. I thought it was gone actually before 2012. I think it's been around since 2007 in the Pasadena area. I used to go to it a great deal just to see what it was all about. It was something other than going to your normal restaurant, something different than going to IHOP or Denny's or some of the other restaurants that you normally see that is mass produced. And so I feel kind of perturbed about the whole idea because when I ate at Shakers, I didn't realize how far long ago. I thought it was always there on the Royal Parkway in Pasadena. And I call it a greasy spoon because that's what it reminds me of. But the food was very good. It was open at the right time. But they had closed the store. I kind of like forgot about it. And then all of a sudden, when I looked for it, I said, "Where did it go?" I've been looking for it for years. They had tore it down. There was a fence around it. And then all of a sudden, I found it again. I said, "Well, I didn't know it was in South Pasadena because it was in Pasadena." When it was in South Pasadena on Fair Oaks. So I finally went there. I think I went there at least twice, maybe once. I'm thinking about going back again, but the one on Arroya Parkway, I didn't know that it actually left in 2021 at the end of the pandemic, but it did, and they supposed to have been starting to put some what you call businesses there, apartment businesses or businesses that that I guess they just wanted there. So I guess the lot was bought by people who wanted to put businesses and apartments there. There is some other things around there, place, Shake Shack, a couple of other places, uh, hamburger places, foodie places. I think there's an IHOP still over on the Royal Parkway area of Pasadena. Well, anyway, I finally found it, like I said, in Fair Oaks about a couple of years ago. And I said, "Oh, it's all the way over here," because actually I had forgotten the name of the restaurant. I forgot that it was Shakers, and I thought they only had one. So I finally went to the one in South Pasadena on Fair Oaks. Very pleased about the meal. It's the same place. It had the same feel, the same greasy spoon feel. There were a lot of people eating there. There are quite a few restaurants there on Fair Oaks. And now I'm getting some news that this one is going to close. I think there was one they said in Glendale that had been closed for many years. I don't think I ever been to that one anyway. But the one that I was going to was a Royal Parkway, which has been gone for I guess since the pandemic. But they said that the restaurant actually been there about 27 on Royal Parkway, but I thought it was there long before that. Uh, However, now they're going to put up some senior housing for Shakers. Senior housing. That's what they're thinking about putting there. I cannot believe it. it's in a spot. Actually, it's not too far or almost across the street from the last video I did over in South Pasadena, where it was a old fort there, or should I say, a historical veterans place. Uh, and so I am kind of sad that they're thinking about taking that place away. And what's so hurt about it is the building is historical, and like many other things that go away, they are always historical. No one cares. I wonder why this bad. No one cares about the history of anything, but they call it beloved shakers. Let me get trying to get it back on here so I won't lose my thought. It's funny how you do these things and sometimes they don't work the way you want to. I hope everyone is hearing me out there. Uh, and why I can't bring up the information. And they're always talking about different state stuff here. Talking about building a surface parking lot. So they're gonna build another parking lot because the parking lot is right there. Uh, Shakers have their own parking lot, but they want to put senior housing there, and I think that's a real shame. It's just too bad that everyone wants things torn down. They don't want to see things that are old anymore. Everyone is out to make a buck, or I don't think senior housing is going to really make that much money. You know how much housing is? Do they really respect the seniors? I don't think so. I don't think they really respect seniors. You know how much those apartments cost? The same as everyone else who don't have a home, who live in apartments today that are paying anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 to rent an apartment. And they're gonna call it seniors. These must be the seniors after me. These must be the seniors who are high techs. These must be the seniors who are in the technological field because who's making that kind of money? Usually, there's every 10 years, I'm sure there's a different group of generation. Each generation gets older. Every 10 years, someone gets older. You would think that even in Social Security, where they talk about it might go away, that people are going to be making money. But the people who are already seniors, like myself and others before me, if they already didn't have a very good job, when they retired, their income was very low. It was low for that time period. Each generation time period is different. So if you was poor in that time period, then you probably still are poor. But if you had a decent job, lower to middle class, and now you have to bite the dust. And so far as high rent costs, you won't be able to afford it. Just like they said, the middle class is gone. These high rents is way more than middle class. So, like if you already don't have a home, if you haven't over invested, buying a whole bunch of junk for your home, rebuying stuff, buying stuff, and you know, using the equity of your home to buy cars or fix it up. There's only so many times that you can do that. But if you're still in a home and at least you're making payments on it, more than likely, if you lived in it for 20 years and you haven't made any big investments more than what you can afford, then you don't have to worry about staying or paying rent for $2,000 a month. Of course, some people, get a refi. That's the word I was trying to find. How many refis I had? I had quite a few, but I stopped. If I can use pay it off, if I can use my credit card, if I have an existing credit, I'll try to pay it normally, and then I'll stop right there. I don't buy anything until I have a certain amount of debt is paid down. But the generations at least 20 to 30 years before me, those people definitely cannot afford. Now, if they stayed in their home, regardless of how big their home was, and their mortgage is paid off or it was very low, then they would have to get no apartment. But the thing about it is, some people say, "Oh, the house is too big. I'm going to get an apartment." But then once you get an apartment, you're going to be subject to a different social standard. You won't be able to afford. It would have been best for you to stay in your house and fix up your house and get in debt that way than go get an apartment knowing that they're going to raise the rent 40 to 50% every 3 to 4 years, 2% each year, 3%, whatever. If you're on fixed income, Social Security, even if you had 2 or 3 checks coming in, that still will not total enough money for you to stay in an apartment these days, let alone buying a car. Because most cars, notes are priced, if if everything is equal, will be the sum total of what it would cost back in the what 70s and 80s and 90s. If you roll up together, $600 car notes, $700 car notes. People was paying rent for $700 or $800, but now rent in an apartment $2,000. Some people paying car notes of $2,000. Why? Why should you do that? Why should anybody do any of those kind of things? It really is kind of stupid in a way, include myself, because we have to make certain decisions. Sometimes we make the mistakes. But who in the world thinking that they're going to profit off of senior housing when the rent in the senior houses, including the apartments that they build up to the sidewalk, because that's where some of these new places are built right up to the sidewalk. You would think you were in New York City where the sidewalk and the steps meet. Not quite right, but the way it is now, it's even closer here on the West Coast. They found a plot of land where they used to did not want to put a house at. a mixed use area, industrial on the main street. Now they're putting houses right in the middle between gas stations, mom and pop stores, and any place else that they can have an apartment. Small industrial buildings, it could be a car shop there, it could be a mechanic shop, oil change shop, any kind of shop, any kind of mechanical shop, rug place, carpeting, any kind of shop, but yet they put brand new homes, which are stuck together. They're not apart the way most of us envision homes. And then they rip you off with HOA fees, because that's what that is, a total rip off. So how can a senior back in the day afford any of these apartments? They can't, because their income, unless they were in a very, just like I said, a very good paying job, or they're still working today. But if you're in your 80s and 90s, especially in your 90s, and you've been retired for over 40 years, you definitely cannot afford any of these apartments. Now, when it was like about $600 a month, that would be cool because that's what they basically are worth now. Actually, $1,000 a month would make it more sensible for any senior who had retired since the 60s and 70s. But if you just retired, like me, from a regular job, then therefore, that's why I'm still working. That's why I still have a part time job and Social Security. But like many people, I don't stay in nobody's apartment. And like I said, I had a couple of refis here and there, at least three or four. I don't need anything else. I don't need another refi. It's best to stay in your home, regardless of what it is. Because, like I said, these apartments takes three, four, five people to live in them. That doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't work at all. It is certainly a sad moment for them to get rid of this restaurant that a lot of people like. In fact, I want to bring it back up because sometimes I think my pad is not an iPad, but it's a pad, a Google pad. Why it freezes for no reason at all? Because I had a good article on it. Maybe I'll have to type in shakers again because I was looking for some historical significance from the time I went to Shakers and find out what's going on around here. It says Shakers. Let me see. This is a different kind of article. Oh, that's Facebook. I definitely don't want Facebook. I don't use Facebook. Let's see. Maybe it's already closed. I guess I'm gonna have to go past it. Maybe it's already closed and they're just talking about it. I was just in that area not too long ago, so it's probably already closed, unfortunately. Oh, that one. Okay, I was right. Every time I get history, it's a little bit wrong than what I said the first time. I knew something was wrong when it said 27. The Shakers in Pasadena around 1990. It was really called Salt Shakers, snack shops. But it was in the 90s, I believe, when I first started going there. It was in the 90s. I only went there a few times. Said the original location was originally on Arroya Parkway in Pasadena. I did say that. And I figured that out by looking at the wrong information. And I still kind of got it right. And it said the relocation to move to South Pasadena occurred around 1990. And that is where I lost it. And I was trying my best to find this place. And I finally found it just a couple of years ago, actually during the pandemic or right at the end of the pandemic. So I was right. And now, and now they want to close it down. I hate this. Okay, okay, Google Pad, just messing me up. I'm trying to find some important information here. See, let me type in is is Shakers closed? Because I just found out about it. Actually, actually I'm in Palm Springs right now. I'm in Palm Springs, but I see this article here. Okay, this is the article. It says Shakers in South Pasadena is likely closing soon due to a new development project that will replace the building with senior housing, with construction expected to begin in early 2026. So I'm gonna have to drive by there as soon as I get back. I got a couple of more places to go. I'm here for a little rest. Then we're gonna take an extended vacation, and then I'm gonna check it out. Okay, it says details of the closure. Now I'm taking this as just AI overview. Okay, AI overview. A new senior housing development is planned for the site early 2026. I read that. Building history. The restaurant was built in 1965 and became Shakers in the 1970s. They even got down here past rumors. So they had restaurant closing rumors in the past with new development plans. And definitely community members are concerned about losing an architectural landmark and the potential for Shaker to be demolished. Well, look like it's going to happen now. Replace it with current housing to reach, let's say, it is possible that the owners may try to relocate or revive the business in the future, but there's no plans for it. Some preservationists are hoping that the restaurant can be saved, with one source noting the potential to keep Shakers and develop housing for seniors on the same property. I don't know how they're going to do that. So it's a demolition risk ready to happen. I am so sorry to see it go because actually it was one of my lists to go back there again. But there is a restaurant right down the street from it that I was going to check it out. I still am. because this one is right close to the freeway, and it seems like no matter where they put any play, it's going to be any place. It's going to be either near a freeway or just like I said, it doesn't matter a mixed use industrial site over land that people use as a park. They don't want it to be a park anymore, or they'll build it so that it'll be right close up to a park, but not necessarily to the rest of the community's liking. But yes, it's going to be sad. What else can you really say about that? What does it say about society? What does it say about the future? It says a lot. It says no one gives a damn. That's what it means. No one gives a damn about keeping some of the old and bringing in the new at the same time. Some places, they got it right. You can cite the Fairfax area in LA, the Fairfax community in Los Angeles when they built that mall there. I keep forgetting the name of the mall, but I was there I was there Christmas last year and still had to pay for parking when I could have got out for just a couple of dollars, but it was gridlock getting out of the parking lot. But on Fairfax and Third, I believe, was it Sixth? I can't remember, Third or Sixth Street. I think it's Third Street. They kept the farmers market. There were enough people in that community to say hell no, and that place is very busy. I remember going there as a kid. It is still there. I don't go there. I've been around it. The last time I was there was during Christmas time last year when I was looking at the Christmas decorations at this particular mall. And it was very crowded in there. So it's true, depending on the packaging and the community that surrounds it, things will stay right there where they're at. Now, of course, if there was a natural disaster, then that's another story. But if there's a way to save this architectural demolishing craze, then it should be well worth it. Everything that's new does not bring about cheerfulness. Sometimes you keep things old and people become more cheerful because it feels like home. It feels like home even if you just walk through it and just feel good, just find a seat, might buy a drink, maybe a sandwich. Well, sometimes you just want to, just like I said, just walk through because you can. This is Robin and Shaw. I'm going to end this video while I look for things and then all of a sudden it just pops right in my face. I don't have to look very far. So while I'm here resting in Palm Springs and looking for things to do, but there's plenty to do, I'll see you in my next video. And maybe something else will pop up that I don't necessarily agree with. I'll see you in my next video, folks. Have a great rest of your evening.